So actually, a lot of people don't know this, but the Blossom vocals are me singing. I
I
wrote the
was
lyrics and I sing it as well.
I was thinking that, and because
Oh,
I
I
find
knew.
myself, I have now like I think I've forgotten it over the past few weeks of me being busy, but I remember memorizing all of Blossom's vocals. So
Yeah, so actually, like, people always ask me, like, is the vocal in Blossom a sample? And I'm like, no, that's me singing.
This is
But
this is your Porter Robinson moment where everyone realizes Porter Robinson's vocals are all him singing.
hi everyone. I'm Enemy, your host. Eris and Jack are here, and today we are joined by a very special guest, someone who has decided to blossom onto our podcast. That's a really bad plug. Synthion is our guest for today. Everybody, welcome Synthion.
hello.
Yeah.
Yay! Anyway, Synthion, since we're starting out, tell us a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Synthion. I'm a VTuber and music producer, and probably the reason you guys all know me is because I have a song in Soundvoltex Exceed Gear. It's called Blossom. Uh, and yeah, I love rhythm games.
And
You want
Blossom actually released like a while ago. Like this was already out like before Sound Voltex, correct? Just
Yeah,
verifying.
it came out in 2020,
Oh,
Okay.
that's a while before.
so 3
Yeah,
years
it's
ago.
way while before.
The before time.
It's also like it's also like one of my favorite 16s. The Exhaust specifically. I haven't played the Maximum yet.
The
'cause I'm not that
exhaust
good.
is great.
The Exhaust is so fun.
I needed to come to Kanaste. I haven't played it yet. I'm so
really?
sad.
Anyway, so we're basically just going to be talking about a variety of things, rhythm games, music production related. I'm actually really curious to pick Synthion's brain about kind of like her experience with the rhythm game community, because I sort of, me personally, my story, my Synthion journey is more so like I knew Synthion a little a little early on. I had only really heard the name. I hadn't really listened to enough of her stuff. And then it was when Blossom came out where I was like, okay, now I need to actually like fully dive in. So then it's been Blossom is at like the top of I think my not my Sound Voltex, my Spotify charts actually, like a while ago. And now I've just been listening to a bunch of Synthion stuff ever since, especially Vivid Velocity. I'm in love with Vivid Velocity.
Thank you.
Anyway,
Is it Synthion journey time, or do we all want to take a turn? I got one.
sure, go ahead.
All right, you sold yourself short because you are also a very accomplished DJ, at least in my eyes. I've done some mobile DJ stuff, so I saw and am obsessed with your Anikura Unison back in Berkeley. Yes, I'm that deep in because obviously who doesn't love New Jeans? And my homie on my server was like, "Yo, you got to hear this Jersey edit Synthion did." I was like, "What?" So I've been obsessed with following all of your DJ exploits ever since. I mean, of course I'd heard of you, and of course I played Blossom, but you're doing so much more than just the music production. So I got to give you your credit. Good stuff.
Thank
Yes,
you.
yes.
I almost forgot I DJ'd.
I won't let you. It's amazing.
Jack, do you have any?
I mean, I don't know. I was for me finding Synthion was from ITG mostly, actually.
Oh.
A lot of ITG. Well, obviously, a lot of your stuff's been charted in ITG, but also the Club Fantastic stuff specifically.
right.
I think was where I was like, oh, this is. I had heard of you before, and then it was you're in Club Fantastic, and I was like, oh, this is interesting that they made like officials, quote unquote, for Stepmania, I guess.
Right.
They sort of bundled it as its own game. So yeah, that was interesting to see something like that, because it's a free to play like custom songs game, so you don't usually see songs like commissioned for that kind of game. So it was interesting to see that stuff.
Yeah, we have a wide variety of like how you found me from.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like I'm probably the baby of like all of it, really. But like, yeah. Did you where did you start playing rhythm games, to be honest?
Okay, so it goes way far back.
Oh, I'm the old
So
head.
Oh,
Let's hear it.
fantastic story time.
when I was like 9 or 10 years old, um, I had a DS, and I don't know if you guys remember, but do you know the like R4 chips for
Oh yeah.
DS?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Where
No,
you
I
could
don't.
like load in
This
like any game you want, and
Are
it's
you
like
legally
Oh, like an
legally
R4. Oh,
pirated.
okay,
download
gotcha,
the
gotcha,
now?
gotcha. Yeah, I remember these.
Yeah,
Legally dubious
so
R4 flash cart.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so one of my cousins borrowed me his or like lent me his R4 chip. And I was just like looking through the games on there. And there was this one called Osu Gakuen
Mm.
or like
Kai?
Osu
Atake
like
Oendan.
yeah. The Oendan one. And I
Mm.
was like, I have no idea what this does, but I'm gonna try it. And it was like a rhythm game where you just like click to the circles. And to me, it was like so fascinating because I had been playing instruments for a while,
Mhm.
like when I was like 9 or 10. Mainly because my mom's a piano teacher, but that's a whole nother story. um, but so like that was like my first exposure to like anything fun that's music related.
I shouldn't laugh. I'm sorry.
So
Yeah, I'm sorry.
it,
I'm sorry.
no, don't be sorry. But it was like a very like refreshing experience. And I still remember being like amazed, and I became like obsessed with that game, and then I sort of forgot about it. Um well, it was that game, and then there was also Rhythm Heaven on the DS.
I
Mhm.
love Rhythm Heaven.
Mhm, yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty good
so
series.
those two were like my very first exposures. I became obsessed with them. And then I sort of fell out after playing those games for like 2 years straight. Until one day I went over to that same cousin's house, and he was playing Osu for like PC. And I was like Osu standard. And I was
Yep.
like, "Oh wait, I remember playing this game when I was 9."
This is kind of blowing my mind. I had almost the exact same experience, both with DS and finding Osu later. This
Oh
is
my
totally
god.
messing with me. I found Osu from a Reddit used to have a random subreddit button. Like you could click it and it would give you a random subreddit, and I got the Osu game subreddit, and that's how I found it. That was like years later. Same deal.
That is some
That's like
crazy
actually
RNG.
1 in a million chance.
Yeah, that's actually some
But I was
crazy
saying,
RNG.
I was playing the US version of Down Elite Beat Agents when I was like probably around the same age.
Hell yeah. I
Ah.
also played the crap out of Elite Beat Agents. I
Yeah.
had to borrow DS from the friend, but I was obsessed with it. Like
It's so
IFC
good.
Jump and Jack Flash with the divas, and I handed it back to my friend like I'm done. And she was like, "What do you mean you're done?" And I'm like, "No, I'm literally done. I have done FC'd everything."
Yeah, Oendan is such a good gateway.
Oh, for real.
Mm,
Yeah, it's
So you came back
Yeah.
later with Osu Standard then. It's probably like a lot of us.
Yeah, Osu standard, and then like I played the heck out of that. I managed to like convince my parents to get me a drawing tablet, even though I don't draw.
that's kind of like me justifying the purchase, because I actually recently, after I did my tiebreaker for roundtable, I then started like, I'm gonna get into Osu now. And then I was like, well, I'm gonna have to buy a drawing tablet, but then I'm gonna have to like I'm gonna have to convince myself, why are you getting a drawing tablet for a game that's not actually gonna be for like,
Hey, I did it too. No, I can't say anything. I did
Same
the
thing
same
like a
thing. I had
keypad
two.
too,
What a
like-
I have
cheap
two of them.
Gaumon. Just treat it as a controller. I love collecting controllers in general. So to me, it was easy. I'm like, this is pure rhythm game controller now.
yeah.
I don't need to hear anything else. I'll get it. I got a cheap. I think it's Gaumon 602 entry level stuff. So maybe if I wanted to spend real money, I'd actually have some hesitation.
And then
Reminded me,
Yeah.
the first Osu tablet I had was the one that was advertised as the Osu tablet. I think it was the little Huion tablet.
oh
I
yeah.
used to play by dragging the pen on it instead of hovering it.
The hover, yeah.
So
I did
by
the
the
same
time I
exact
was
thing.
Yes, by the time I was done with it and I needed to get a new one, I had dragged a square into the like I carved a square into the tablet where my play area was. And so when I gave it to my
Mhm.
friend, I was like, "Yeah, sorry about the square-shaped carving in it." For a little while, they were selling like Osu branded ones.
Oh, that's cool.
I saw those,
They
yeah.
had like a design on them, and it was on the box as like an advertised like feature. Was like, "Hey, you can use it for Osu too."
No way.
Yes, it was probably getting a lot of use for that.
Yeah, marketing money.
Yep.
While we're talking about journeys, how do we jump from Osu to, dare I say, more hardcore games? Because obviously, I mean, Osu can get pretty hardcore, but I don't think you were playing it that intensely. Just starting out, I
Yeah.
remember nobody was.
I think I got up to like 4 or 5 star levels for Osu, which is like, pretty like average. I would probably say that's like 12s or 13s in some Voltax, but
Yeah.
That's probably pretty accurate.
Probably,
yeah.
yeah. Considering how hardcore Osu is.
Yeah, I sort of fell out with the game like when I started taking music production a little bit more seriously, which is
Ooh.
like around sophomore year of high school.
Hmm.
So I just like kind of stopped playing rhythm games altogether. Um and then uh once I moved out for college, me and my roommate at the time, we went to go to round one when I was living in Boston. So the round one was like 2 or 3 hours away.
We were just
And
on
we had
pre-roll.
planned uh like a journey to go there. Cause the reason being
Yeah.
I had heard about this rhythm game called Waka. And
Yeah.
No way.
it had so many
Yeah.
of my favorite songs on it. And I was like, oh, I kind of want to try this. So we took the 2 hour long pilgrimage over to the west side of Massachusetts where nobody lives.
Yep.
And
But there's
Yep.
a round one for some reason.
but there's a round one. So I went there. It was my first time ever going to a round one. And I tried Waka for the first time. And I fell in love with the game so much. And I was able to like reach higher difficulties like pretty quickly because I had like the Osu experience and
Yeah,
then
exactly.
like just like the music knowledge in general because I would only play songs that I know, but that
Mhm.
would be enough because
Yeah.
there's just so many songs I know on Waka.
I was gonna say, if you know Hardcore Tennessee, you know like every song on there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Not to mention the Vocaloid picks in Waka are actually pretty good. There's a lot of good ones.
Everything in Walk is good, man.
It's so good. So
We
good.
Hopium Gang. It's never dead.
It's
never
Hopium
dead.
Gang.
It'll be
Hopium
back,
Gang
guys.
is
They're gonna
coming
bring
back.
it back. I swear. Waka revival.
We love it. It's too good.
It's interesting to hear. I'm someone who started out on Voltex. Like that was the first game I got interested in after Osu. But it's really
Mhm.
interesting. I guess I've been in for like 8 or 9 years now. So it's weird but cool to hear someone interested in Waka first.
Yeah.
I've
game
never
is so
actually. I don't
good.
see that actually. Like,
I know so many like I mean at least in the US I know so many like Western players that are interested in it, like people who don't play rhythm games, and it's like it's such a bummer that that game didn't get more marketed toward Western audiences,
yeah.
or
I
at least even
know.
have English. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the way my rhythm game journey started was like it started with a long time ago. I was actually looking at like anime. I had an app on my phone when I was in high school for like anime soundtrack, like basically YouTube to MP3. It was back then, like before like YouTube
Mhm.
music was a thing. And so I was
Yeah, yeah.
looking up like I guess anime soundtracks or video game soundtracks because when I was like a child, that was what I was into. And then eventually I found one song, Storia by Sakuzio and Sai, which was for
Ooh.
Sidus's Chapter M. And so then I found Sidus 1 and then flash forward and then I got really into basically mobile rhythm games. And then eventually Cry.exe actually was like, when I met him on like Discord at some point, was basically like, so have you ever heard of a game called Sound Voltex? And then that's and then it started.
Gateway
It's
drug.
all over now.
Anyway,
It's all
that
over.
happened, and then Shunithm came along, and I sadly dropped Voltex for a few years because I became obsessed with Sega rhythm games.
Don't say sadly. Two of them's good.
I mean,
Shunitham's
yes,
good.
but like I didn't want to drop Voltex, like it. Yeah. And I've been getting back into it recently, and now I'm like, because we got an Exceed gear at around 1 here in Texas, so I was like, oh, I can play this game seriously. And once you go 120 hertz, you can't go back. I can't go back.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my whole.
Oh gosh, the rhythm journey. Y'all gonna make me self-report my age. All right, so it all started with Parappa the Rapper.
No!
Deadass.
Dang, I thought
I
was the oldest
was
one.
nah. I'm just youthful at heart. My inner child is very bright. Nah, for real, it was Parappa the Rapper. I played the crap out of that thing. But I'll try to abridge it because obviously that means we got a lot to go. My
Yeah.
first DDR was Konamix on PS1, which was like 4th mix or probably 5th mix, but like westernized. So I played the crap out of Konamix. I definitely played all the way up to, I would say I stopped when Naoki left. Cause like Supernova 2, I think what happened was like the Wii came out and there was just DDR, I think it's 2013. And I was like, what is this crap? I'm done. I never had access to arcade stuff, so it was a lot of console playing for me. Either way, I got a PSP. I fell on the DJ Maxx rabbit hole.
Mhm.
So my whole
Mm.
no shade to weeaboos out there, but I'm a Koreaboo, and I got really
What?
into the Korean rhythm game scene. So I got into a lot of DJ Maxx. I got into like thirsting after DJ Maxx Technica because I never had a cab nearby. I'd like shadow play off YouTube. So I'm like really into it, but you know, I barely got a chance to try it. But still, I obviously had a bit of Osu. If you ever look at my ancient account, there's like plays from I don't know, like '09 or some crap.
Once
Either
this,
way,
once this is all done, we never have to
Uh,
exposition again. All right.
yeah. I mean, scooping through most of this stuff, you know, I picked DDR back up, obviously. It's funny when Tag left, I was like, let me get back into this. No shade on Tag. I was sad I missed out on Taguchi's era because I definitely love everything about that.
Yeah.
I just was foolish enough to not even know about all the cool arcade stuff going on, and was sad at the console. As we all know, Konami kind of left us console guys out to dry. So that's what really happened. Speaking of PlayStation stuff, I got a Vita. If you want to talk about a weird Citus on road, I played Citus Lambda, which was the PlayStation Vita
What?
port. And
I forgot
fell
that
down
existed.
What the heck?
yes, there was a PlayStation Vita exclusive. Well, it was like PlayStation Network exclusive because you could play it on some other thing. Point is, yeah, Citus Lambda. It's very discontinued because it was like, there's no player base. What are we doing? Um, but I fell down Lambda, and when that died, I was like, oh, this is just a phone game. I'll just play it on my phone. So that threw me down in the rabbit hole of all sorts of mobile rhythm games.
Mhm.
I guess the super short of it is, for today, I just try to play everything.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm the crazy person
Same.
that is, yeah, trying to play every single thing. But I've just always been, you know, you mentioned, Synthion, your instruments. I mean, I grew up playing low brass. These days I play bass guitar because it's
Mhm.
easier than carrying around a euphonium. But I've always had that association, like you said, it really struck a chord with me. You know, it was the first thing you did with music that's like fun.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
shade. There's no shade in playing an instrument, but it can be very painful, right?
Yeah.
It gives
It's
the experience of learning an instrument without having to actually learn how to play an instrument.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
can play along with your favorite songs when you're good at it. And that's what I want to
absolutely.
play an instrument for. So
Yeah. I felt that. I felt that in my heart. It was a similar thing. I treat rhythm games almost like a pseudo instrument. It's just so much fun. But yeah, that's my journey. I'm old.
I treat I treat
yeah,
rhythm
so-
games kind of like a performance. But Synthion, what instruments actually do you play?
So
No, you're good.
when okay, so I started violin. I think
Okay.
I was around 18 months old. And my mom owned a well, actually I'm not I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but my mom owned like a music education company in Korea.
oh,
And so her company was focused on like teaching kids,
Okay.
like
Mm.
babies.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
you
Like
because
from
18
like
months is very young.
That's definitely
from
crazy.
from like age like 3 to 4, and I was like not even 2. So
You're like one and a quarter.
being the CEO's daughter, I picked up the violin at a very, very, very early age, and I actually made it on to like our local newspaper because I was like 2 or 3 and picking up a violin that's like bigger than my head and like trying to play it. I think I was like dressed in formal attire and I was like at a hotel lobby and I was playing and like photographers like took a picture of me and put it there. But anyways,
Adorable.
baby
there
Synthion.
was that. So I started
So
violin.
really early music exposure.
Yeah.
Right. And my mom taught me piano as soon as like my fingers were like ready to like press down heavy keys.
So
So
19 months?
I
Yeah.
think I was 4, I wanna say.
Sure.
But I didn't really like take that seriously because I think my mom really wanted to push for me learning violin.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, piano was just like a side thing, and then we moved to the States, and my
Mhm.
mom like had sold her company, and she started teaching me piano. once we moved, which I was around 6 or 7 then. And she gave up because she thought it was weird to like teach her own child. So she got me like a new piano teacher, and I absolutely hated it.
Oh no.
As
Oh
someone
no, I'm
who
Yeah.
sorry to
as
hear.
someone who literally teaches music as my full-time job, there is nothing more painful than trying to teach a kid something that they
Right.
literally don't want to
That they don't
learn.
want to learn.
It is
Mhm.
actually impossible. Like, it is a
Nah,
waste of the teacher's time. It is a waste of the kid's time. Like,
that
Yeah.
couldn't be me, y'all. Oh my goodness. I can see why you had to have fun for the first time playing Osu. That sounds
yeah, pretty much.
pressure to say the
I
least.
see.
No
Yeah,
disrespect, but yeah.
If the piano wasn't fun, but Osu was. Fair enough.
We know where our priorities are.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so the thing is, I I like did not enjoy the piano, and I really started to hate the violin because like I only had Korean like private instructors
Mhm.
like growing up, like including my mom. And I don't know if you've ever had like a Korean like instruments teacher, but they have no mercy.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
even if you're a kid, they will like make you feel bad for not practicing, and like make you feel bad for not making progress either. And I felt so terrible that like even when I was like still like a first grader and like barely, able to speak English at the time, I felt really bad like after every lesson. And I started like every violin lesson would end with me crying.
Oh
No.
no. Oh
That
So
no.
sounds
my
about
mom was
right.
like, "Okay, I think at this point it's not a matter of you not practicing. I think that's just a bad teacher." So
Oh my gosh.
she got me like an American cello teacher to like switch things up.
Okay.
So I started on the cello, and it actually was great for a while. And just because it was so different than everything else I had
Right.
tried.
Mm-hmm.
And then my cello teacher's husband like came home one day during the lesson, and he was holding a bass. And my mom saw that and was like, "Oh, does your husband play bass?" in her like super broken English.
Mhm.
And my teacher was like, "Yeah, he actually teaches bass too." And my mom had like the genius idea. She was like, "Oh, what if you try bass?"
I think she
That's
just
So
likes
fun.
seeing you with instruments bigger than you are, because like 18-month-old with a
literally
violin was the start of it. I think she had to get that high again.
the violin grew with me.
Yeah, yeah. Well put.
Wait. I'm actually being like super stupid to myself. Are we talking a double bass, or are you talking
Double
like?
bass.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
def
yeah, yeah,
double
yeah.
bass. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
I guess I could have say I play electric bass while we're being accurate.
Yeah, so we tried the double bass, and my mom fell in love with it. I was like indifferent. So obviously that means I picked up the bass.
Ah. I
Wow.
see.
On
And
correction, you did not pick up the bass. The bass, like.
um so I think that was around 5th grade,
Oh,
which
okay.
was probably around the time I played Osu Oendan. But anyways,
Oh.
so I started the bass, I entered middle school, and because I had played the bass for like half a year before entering middle school, all the teachers were like super impressed. And I
Okay.
had like the knowledge from cello and violin as well. Um so they were all super impressed, and they like really tried to push for like me being like first chair and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
like being section leader and whatnot.
Mhm.
And I think it really fueled, I don't know about me, but my mom's interest in me really trying to go for the bass. And that continued all throughout high school. She would enroll me in like youth orchestras and stuff like that, and entered me in music competitions and stuff.
Yeah.
And like there was this thing called Allstate, which is like
Yeah, I did
you
all
Yep,
say.
I know
yeah,
Allstate.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Plenty of stuff. Plenty of American
It's
people do that.
all the musicians from a state in the United States, and you put them in a competition, and whoever plays the best enters the All-State Orchestra.
Right.
Just explaining for the people that don't know
Yeah,
it.
yeah, no, yeah, that's fine.
Excellent, excellent.
Universal
Yeah, and
Interscholastic
then
League.
like the first year I was eligible for All-State, I ended up getting first chair.
Mm.
And my
As you
mom
do.
was like, "Okay, this is like I'm locking this in." And she like really pushed me all throughout middle and high school. So,
Yep.
yeah, that's how I learned all my string instruments. And then guitar and electric bass and stuff like that came later.
Oh, okay.
As you
On
went,
your own time.
as you went, did you feel like it was like, I imagine after like 4 or 5 instruments, especially if they're all string, it had to be easier to pick up the next one each time, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's like so
Mhm.
much carryover skill to
Well,
have like 4 instruments and then go beyond that too.
yeah, in terms of picking up the instruments, not physically, because
Right.
they got
Got bigger.
a lot bigger.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what I was meaning about the double bass. I was like, you didn't physically pick up the double bass, though.
Yeah,
You wheeled that thing around.
That's
Um,
wild. The K drama of Shinthion's life is real.
This is an
Oh my
insane
goodness.
backstory. Like,
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yes.
That's like a crazy amount of like musical background.
Yeah, yeah.
Really real. But
Oh.
I mean, you got to pick up, I wanted to pick your brain on music production. You did music production kind of on your own for fun. How was that getting started?
Yeah, so I think I started music production around the same time I joined like my church's praise team.
oh, wow, interesting.
So this was when I was like getting back into piano again because like every other slot was filled. So they're like, "Oh, Synthion, you can play piano, right?" So I got stuck there.
Everyone gets stuck in music ministry. I shouldn't say that, but it happens a lot.
Yep,
Mhm.
yep. So me being in piano sort of like uh at least in church's praise team, you sort of have to like think of your own things or like improv without even like knowing it's improv. Just because like when they do like prayer times or whatever,
Uh-huh.
they want you to like keep playing the song beforehand and just like keep it going. But then I wouldn't remember how the song goes, so I would like improv. And then I saw one of my friends using FL Studio one day. And I was like, "Oh my god, what is that?"
Yes.
And
Yes.
he was like making like a trap beat. And I was like, "Wait,
Oh, okay.
that's so cool. Can I try that?" And like I like went on his computer and like just tried making music, and it was like so much fun that I had him like uh illegally
He's acquired. You
uh,
had acquired
how it
freedom.
is.
acquired-
We acquired
So,
through special
Acquired
means.
Fruity
share a copy, you know?
Yes,
And
yes. Yeah.
yeah, so that's how I actually like started. Was because I saw someone make a cool trap beat. And I just sort of like tried fiddling around with the software, watching YouTube tutorials and stuff like that. And because I had the knowledge from like church piano, I was able to like figure out writing melodies really quickly.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's I just kept trying random ideas and like practicing, and that's where I'm at now.
And now she is on Sound Voltex and also a top contender in the Muse Dash competition. So
I was actually going to
Beautiful.
ask earlier. So you said you started on Waka, but what moved you to Voltex?
Yeah, so what actually moved me was Konami asked me for a license. And I
Oh.
was like, "Wait, I've seen that game before." Like as I was playing Waka, it was like there
Okay.
for really far in the background. And I was like, "Wait, I know that game. It's the really loud one that has a lot of filters on it."
Well put. Well put.
Yeah, and it was at Vivid Wave, I think, when I first
Says
saw
the
it.
Nemesis
So,
caps. Okay. All right.
Mhm.
yeah.
That's the game that goes.
That game is
Yeah,
so
yeah,
loud.
exactly. So they had asked me for a license, and I was like, "Oh my god, yeah, I know that game. Yeah, of course.
Hmm.
Let's do the license." and I had signed everything, I think around like July or August, and that's when I also moved here to California.
Oh, okay.
And one of my friends, like a friend of a friend, we were like friends on Discord, and I saw they were playing USC, like Unnamed Sound Voltex
Oh.
Clone.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
And I was like,
My beloved.
wait, you can play Sound Voltex on your computer? And I was like super interested. And so I asked them, I was like, hey, how do you do that? And they were like, oh yeah, you need like a controller, but you can play at home.
Mhm.
You can borrow mine if you want. So I
That's a
borrowed
real thing.
their Sound Voltex controller. It was like a Foss A2.
Oh, okay.
And
A gateway.
yeah, and one of my other friends taught me how to set up Konaste. So that's how I started Sound Voltex was
Mhm.
I like did Konaste. I started with like, you know, 9s and 10s.
Mhm.
And I was like, I should probably like practice this. Because I want to be able to play my song when it comes out.
Right.
That was literally the only reason I started.
That's a crazy motivation. Like
I
that's like
respect
such a like a niche motivation to play a game, but that's awesome.
Well, I think I
Yeah.
remember.
I would feel the same way.
Yeah, I think I remember you tweeted about it though, right? Like you started playing it like way before, so that you were prepping basically for Blossom's release, and so it was-
Exactly.
yeah, I was like, that's
But-
actually really smart, actually.
Yeah. So this was like August 2022 or like September 2022.
Okay.
And Blossom didn't come out until April 2023. But I didn't know that. I thought it was gonna come out like a few months after I signed the contracts and everything.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh yeah, I'll just play for a little bit until
Oh no!
I
Until it
like
comes out.
until my song comes out, and I'll like get to play it. And I thought it was that at first, but as I was playing the game, I started falling in love with the game,
Mhm.
and I started progressing really fast as well. So I just, you know, kept playing, wondering when Blossom will come out. But then like by a certain point, I think once I started playing like 17s, I was like, wait, like I started being so excited for my own song to come out. And I
Mhm.
was like, wow, wait, maybe I should try and get as good as I can before it comes out. And
And then she
yeah.
was Infinite Dawn.
I was gonna say, wait, yeah,
Yeah.
just as
All
a, just
Infinite
as a
Dawn.
just as an old like older Voltex player perspective. So did you say you started playing Voltex like seriously in 2022?
Yeah, September 2022.
Oh my god, that's crazy. Okay, so because I've seen that you've cleared a couple 20s now and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
it took me almost 8 years to get to instant at that level. Newer
Oh my
players,
god.
newer players these days get good so fast.
True, can confirm.
It blows my mind.
Oh, it's
That's
really
awesome.
daunting.
I mean,
It's
to get up to like that level so quick is awesome, especially because Blossom ended up being the maximum was an 18, right?
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
So you
And I was
definitely
able
needed to practice a little to get to that point to be able to play it.
Yeah, I was able to S it.
That's
It was like
awesome.
one of my first 18 S's. And
Very fitting.
yeah, it was very fitting, and it became like my highest score like on Volforce. Like
Oh,
my
okay.
highest Volforce score, and that was like really cool.
That'll probably be on your Volforce for a while too if it's an 18.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
That'll-
still
that'll be
there.
up- That'll be up there.
My highest right
That's-
now is like Absolute Domination, the Exhaust 17. Like that's and well, Last Resort too. Those are like the only. I'm really good at like psi spam. Like that's pretty much my claim to fame. And then other than that,
So
I'm
was it-
terrible at Voltex.
So it was a while then, like you said, it was a while like after they contacted you.
Oh
before
yeah.
it came out.
Pretty much they contacted me in April 2022, and it came out late April 2023.
Oh my
so it
gosh.
was over a year.
And when I assume when they contacted you, you just had no idea of the time frame. They didn't. I assume they didn't tell you.
Yeah.
I think
They
they should've,
didn't mention
honestly.
it at all.
Wow.
Crazy.
So
I think,
professional.
when I asked once, like around September, like when I first started playing the game, I like asked because I was like excited for my song to come out, and I was like, "Do you know when it's gonna come out?" And they said within the fiscal year. So the
Sounds
Japanese
right, a
fiscal
business idea.
year ends in March,
Ah.
but it came out in April.
Not even that was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder how much other stuff they have like in the vault, just like ready to go. Like
Oh,
they
I
must
mean-
plan content. They must plan content so far out.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Mhm.
And I have a strong feeling it got delayed by all the BPL stuff
Yeah.
Oh,
because
makes
it
Oh yeah.
came out pretty much right after BPL ended.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't part of an update, right? It was just like a single.
It was
wasn't.
it came out along with Energy Synergy Matrix.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So now after all that, now you're a Sound Voltex main.
Yeah, definitely a Sound Voltex main now.
Am I right that Vivid Velocity though is like super coded towards that Sound Voltex style?
Oh, like 1,000,000%.
I was about to say
Like,
Vivid is in the title. It's a
Okay.
It's like yeah.
yeah, actually the title wasn't supposed to be Sound Voltex coded, but it ended up being that way.
Yeah.
It's like a
but,
Freudian slip of happiness instead of awkwardness.
So I had commissioned the album art for Vivid Velocity, and I wanted her to like have peace signs.
Mhm.
And wait, I was like V and V, and I had inserted like hypervelocities like vocals into the song,
Mm.
which is like an older release of mine.
Right.
And I was like, what like adjective starts with V? And the only word I could think of was vivid. That like fit the song at least.
Voltex brain rot.
It's a whole different song, yeah. A whole different song.
Thanks for the title name, by the way. I'm gonna steal that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway, yeah. All right, cool. I was because I was listening. I was like, "Oh, this Voltex rot has gotten to her." Like,
Yeah, no, I think it's honestly the best thing to ever happen to my music because
Aw.
I feel very like inspired when like writing rhythm game style
Yeah.
like melodies and like synths and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Especially because like the song I heard that got me into Voltex was I by Chroma.
yeah, that's a great entry
And
point.
yeah, it's still my favorite song in Voltex. And like just I think that song was life changing for me. And it made me realize like how pretty music can be even with like chiptune stuff like that
Mhm.
and just like electronic sounds in general, you can still make pretty music. So
Oh yeah.
that's like where my music has been going ever since I heard that song.
I feel like it's like
Chroma,
music.
Chroma is like the master of that too. It's like
Mhm,
exactly
mhm.
their sound.
Chroma.
Yeah.
I is from Chroma, one of Chroma's albums. I don't remember the exact name of it.
Robot and Human.
Thank you. It's like
Yeah, nice.
it
Oh wait,
is
so
like,
I also wasn't that wasn't a song that was made for Voltex?
no,
No,
it was, but
Oh, it was. Okay.
as far as I know, it was. But like he made an album around it after that,
Oh, got it. Okay.
Mhm,
and then Made in Love is on there as well. Like,
Yep.
Yep.
but it's like that album is probably one of the. It's an entire like concept story album, sort of, and it's like it's really one of the most emotional things I think I've ever listened to. That whole album, it's beautiful.
mhm.
But I think rhythm game music is like it's cool because it's like, yeah, you can make stuff that's really like pretty atmospheric and emotional, but it can be fast at the same time. And I think that's what's
Yeah.
like really cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
I feel like I got another lore question that's obviously musically related. We are missing one instrument that I know you've dabbled in, the instrument of voice.
Ah.
Yeah,
Mm.
keen-eyed, or shall I say keen-eared listeners and fans are you've sung a couple times, Can we expect another vocal track in the future? No pressure.
So actually, a lot of people don't know this, but the Blossom vocals are me singing. I
I
wrote the
was-
lyrics and I sing it as well.
I was thinking that, and because
Oh, I
I find
knew.
myself, I have now like I think I've forgotten it over the past few weeks of me being busy, but I remember memorizing all of Blossom's vocals. So
Yeah, so actually like people always ask me like is the vocal in Blossom a sample? And I'm like, no, that's me singing.
Mhm.
This is
But-
this is your Porter Robinson moment where everyone realizes Porter Robinson's vocals are all him singing.
Speaking of Porter Robinson,
Yeah,
the
please.
reason I
Segue.
started singing on my music was I think
Wasn't it
Get
musician?
Your Wish.
Oh, that
I
one
think
too,
was
yeah.
the first single from Nurture.
oh, okay.
And when I heard that, I was like, wait, I didn't know you could like pitch shift your vocals and it would still sound good. I thought it would just sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks.
He's
So
so
I
good
kind
at
of
that
avoided
too.
it. Yeah, so I like researched a really long time to see how I can shift my vocals up. Cause the biggest complex I had of me not singing was like my range wasn't big enough.
Mhm.
So I tried singing with the vocal like filter on my voice. And that like changed everything. I really wanted to sing on my music from now on. And
Mhm.
so with Fairy Tale, which is the album Blossom is on,
Right.
I really tried to sing on every song
Yeah.
and make it like sort of my vocal debut.
Mhm.
And it's a little bit rough around the edges, but I think it really shaped my music into what it is today.
Hmm. I think it blends around
Mhm.
with like like the whole texture of your sound. I think it actually blends really well. It's
I
really
agree.
it's because I think like I have used like I think every once in a while I'll do like a vocal sample or something for like one track I make, but it's like it's getting the right. It's so hard to put vocals in a track because it's a whole different mixing beast. So yeah, I'm just like yeah, the amount of work you've put into vocals is like insane. So I'm really inspired by it. It's cool.
Thank you.
Uh, I was gonna say, so you've done Voltex. Now, what about mobile rhythm games though? I've noticed you probably started Archaea.
Right. So actually, I left out a very integral part of my rhythm gamer journey.
Yes.
So between Osu and Waka, there was like a really long gap, right? But I actually forgot I was really into Love Live and Bang
Oh
Dream.
my.
Okay.
So
Still
Bang
counts.
Dream, let's
Still
go.
counts. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I'm more of a D4 DJ head, but I love them all.
I switched to D4 DJ off Bang Dream.
Mm,
That game is
yeah.
fun.
Still good.
So
All good.
I played Bang Dream super intensely actually. So that was like the first rhythm game I sort of like really tried to push for max difficulty and stuff like that. And I would like I think one event I tried to like tier for, which is like you like try and push for as many event points as you
Mhm.
can to
Right.
try and get a good rating
Mhm.
or like ranking
Yeah.
out of like all the other players. And I got like top 500 and I was like I'm never doing that again because I had to sacrifice like so much sleep. I was like
It's awful.
yeah, I would set alarms in the middle of the night to go play Bang Dream and it was like so awful.
Yeah, it's
I
work.
I waited like 2 years of playing D4 DJ before trying that one time just so I had energy stuff stored because I didn't want to like
Yeah.
wake up in the middle of the night to do it. It's ridiculous.
Mhm.
Yeah,
gosh, all this
that's
Bang Dream
definitely
talk.
hardcore. Anyone who says like playing like Bang Dream or D4 DJ isn't like as intense as another rhythm game. No, man, we put a lot of work into that.
Absolutely. I gotta
spend that
ask,
energy.
favorite character? Or you gotta have a couple at least. You gotta name drop. No wrong answers.
From
Bang
rhythm
Dream.
games
No,
or
Bang Dream
from Bang
specifically.
Dream?
Oh,
Bang
Bang
Dream
Dream.
Yeah.
specifically?
Mhm.
Tae Hanazono is like my Oshi
There we
from
go.
Bang
Yeah.
Dream.
Okay.
Yeah. I really love Tae and I actually the electric guitar that I have, it looks exactly like hers.
Let's
You
go.
were doing the Bochi strat pre-Bochi. Let's go.
Perfect.
Exactly.
You didn't return your guitar after 3 months.
Oh yeah, that too.
Like the Japanese people are doing.
Oh, that's
Absolutely
sick. She's
fantastic.
cute.
You're playing.
that-
You said you were playing Love Live as well. Then.
Yeah, I also played Love Live, not as intensely as Bang Dream.
Yeah, I can never really do it.
Yeah. But I like really liked the anime. So I was like there's like a mobile rhythm game for it, so I like tried playing it and stuff.
Yeah.
I heard. Oh, good.
Oh no. In all honesty, that was going nowhere. Your turn.
I was just gonna say I'm just thinking about Love Live because of the new version they released recently, which I heard was not as well received.
Right.
Yeah.
Love Life to me will forever be Muse and Aqua, but just those two. The new ones don't count
purist.
for me.
Oh, you're an old head now. Love Live old head.
Like mainly just because I didn't watch them. But yeah.
Nah, that's okay.
Some
Get any more
Love,
rhythm
some
game
Love Live fan
content?
out there is going crazy right now.
Yeah, like screaming at
Oh,
our monitor. Be
definitely.
sure to comment below and
Yeah,
engage with us about how
angry
much you feel about this. Yeah.
No
like, "Add
offense,
me!"
I'm just the Love Life boomer. It's okay.
Yeah, she did the one event. She did the one event, got top 500, and then she's like, "I'm jaded." That's
Clearly, she and the series peaked there. There's no need to go further. Oh gosh. Any I got some non-rhythm game stuff to maybe bring up if
Yeah, sure,
everybody's
go ahead.
okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just wondering what you do with your free time. I'm sure you have to fight for it, but what do you like doing these days?
So I guess like recently, I've just been like most of my free time has been just going to round one.
Valid,
Yeah.
fair,
That's
valid.
exactly what I would do.
based, yeah.
Yeah, and actually, a lot of the friends I have here in the Bay, I met through round one. So everything's like very connected to rhythm games.
Ooh, ayo,
Yeah.
community.
Yeah, I have like an
Won't be
entire.
happy.
Yeah, I have my entire friend group of like an arcade that we play over here, and they have like this very old. They have this very old My Finale cab that we all play, and then also like a bunch of other cabs. I can't really compromise them, so you cut that out. But yeah. So that's. But then we have a round one there, and then I've been getting a ton into like Dance Rush, and it feels great. So I'm like having a bunch of fun with that. Anyway, sorry, but go on.
Yeah, so honestly, I don't have very many days off, unfortunately. But when I'm not making music or streaming, it's pretty much just round one. And actually, yesterday I hung out with my round one friends like away from an arcade for the first time. It was actually really good. We like played board
Branching
games
out.
together.
They're like real
Yeah.
friends now.
They're
They
like
made
real
it.
friends.
No,
Yeah,
they
we
cleared the bar. They earned it for you.
They're not
Yeah.
they're not just the weird people that are in front of me in line at the
For real.
arcade machine.
Yeah, big difference. They've graduated.
So
I
yeah,
have a-
we
Oh god.
oh yeah, so we like played board games all day and just hung out until like we like had dinner and we were just like sitting there and my one of my friends goes, I want to play co-op and pump with you. So we went to round one after.
And you went there at the end.
Sick. Sick. You love
Oh
to
my
see
God.
it.
Co-ops are the most fun.
It's
Yeah,
insane.
I tried it for the first time yesterday.
Arguably more fun if you don't play doubles because then you just constantly run into your friend.
That's exactly what
I
happened.
tried to do pump. I can't play on handlebar. I'm too short.
Oh no, that's true.
Oh my god, I can't imagine it.
That's
Like,
not no.
if you weren't like I guess average height playing doubles on pump, you'd be like so far away from the bar.
Maybe I'm just doing it wrong. I'm not sure because I'm like average height for a person. So I'm.
No, it's
American
Andamiro's
male.
fault. You're
mean,
fine,
even
enemy.
I'm-
It's Andamiro's fault. They need to fix that.
I was gonna say I'm like 5'10", and even for me, like reaching the far right and left top arrows on doubles is like far.
Yeah.
So I don't know how people who are like my height or shorter play doubles like heavily.
Mhm.
It's impressive.
Actually-
oh god.
Oh, I was gonna say that. Sorry, that made me think of like a really random tangent. Synthion, have you played Dance Rush at all? This is me, the Dance Rush brain rot person.
Yeah, so actually I played Dance Rush before Sound Voltex.
Oh, okay.
Like when I
Oh.
went to go play when I went to go play Waka,
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
only games I played were Waka and Dance Rush, like one credit.
Let's go.
Arm day,
Just
leg day. Let's
because-
go.
Yeah, I guess somewhat had the confidence because like I could shuffle at least because I had been in my high school's K-pop dance club.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Oh,
Oh my
nice.
gosh.
So
So wait, in
I
that
was
era,
able
like
to
Sun Yoshi Day?
shuffle already. So I saw someone shuffling and I was like, I kind of want to try that. So I like waited for them to leave because I didn't want to embarrass myself.
That's how Dance Rush works. Where it's
Me
like if
playing
you're playing
Dance
it,
Rush.
yeah, it's like wait,
Yeah,
everybody's gotta leave.
and I was able to try it and I like didn't touch it for a while, but like very recently because I had been playing full text for a while, I like recognized a lot more songs
Mhm.
and I was able to clear like a lot higher levels in Dance Rush now.
Mhm.
Nice, nice. You can't
This
mention
is-
K-pop and not. I love grilling people. I'm so sorry. Who do you like? Who's your K-pop people you're into these days? We need all the deets.
These days I'm on the new Jeans
Absolutely.
hype train.
Did you see the new EP actually that just
Yeah,
dropped?
I
The
haven't had a
Powerpuff
chance
Girls
to
one?
listen
Oh,
to
you
all of
gotta
it,
hear it. Mhm.
but I saw the music video.
The Witch, there's
for
17 versions. You know how they do.
the iPhone commercial one.
Yes, that actually does narrow it down. No, that one's excellent. No, New Jeans is crazy good. That's why I guess I'm happy for them. They seem to be unstoppable, but I don't want them to stop, so no issues here.
Yeah, definitely. I like sort of fell out of touch with K-pop. Um, pretty much, I guess after high school, I like stopped listening to it, and then
That's
New Jeans sort of like revived that for me.
that's kind of me as well. I fell off around Sonia Shide or Girls' Generation.
Oh, that's a really long time.
Yeah, so I keep being an old head. Yes, I listen to Tomoshiki. Okay, I'm that old. I was there. All right.
I was
But
there.
even still, I kind of paid attention. I didn't completely fall off, but it wasn't until New Jeans that I started really getting into it again. But either way, good stuff. It's Get Up. Yes, the New Jeans EP is Get Up.
Mhm.
Because you never know, no pressure, might show up in another edit, another Synthion edit. Because
Right.
if you start spinning, I'm gonna pay attention. I'm gonna look out for it. All right.
I actually do have one question before we get too far away from Blossom.
Fair enough.
What was your reaction to it showing up on Siva Gunner?
Oh.
Because
Yeah.
I think most of us were surprised to see it too.
So, funny story.
Oh boy, please.
Actually, I don't know if I'm like allowed to say this because like, the people that make those are like anonymous, right?
I will
Um,
cut it if we find it's problematic, but yeah.
Okay. So the friend that I was hanging out with yesterday that like played Pump co-op with me. Or like there were two friends, but one of them was like, "Hey, by the way, do you know Siva Gunner?" And I was like, yeah, they like turned my song into a mashup one time." And he's like, okay, just checking." And like one day he like pings me like as soon as that video drops, and he's like, "Have fun." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" And it turns out he made it.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that I mean obviously that whole channel is sort of like a like whenever rhythm game stuff gets made on it, where everyone's like, who made this? Like why is this a thing? There's so much stuff that gets uploaded there. So yeah, we were all like really surprised because I know there was also there was an Aleph O rip recently too. And it was like, okay, wow, what the heck's going on over there? So that's I guess not that surprising that you potentially know the person that made it, but very interesting.
Yeah.
Just curious. That's I'm sure it would be a surprise if something I made ended up on that channel. I'd be like, oh, what the heck?
I hope he calls it -1. If we can slip that into him, make sure he names it -1.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna let -1 die.
I would, man, if they put -1 in there, I'd cry. That'd be great.
It's such a well-known like collective of stuff. I feel like when you get your stuff, so like if your music gets ripped on there, it's like such a big deal.
Yeah, you made it.
Since it's mostly like video game music.
Yeah, rite of passage. That's what it is. Yeah.
I think I'm like not well versed enough in that community to like know how big of a deal it is, but I just thought it was really funny.
Definitely surprising. I mean, I would wonder how many people in that collective are into rhythm games. I know there's some crossover because a while ago when they did the big like they did like a big tournament, quote unquote, where they like voted for characters that were making different music and they would compete. They would like fight each other. There was a rhythm game themed character, and all the rhythm game or all the rips were rhythm games, rhythm game music. So there must be some chunk of people in there that are in the rhythm game community as well, but it can be hard to know since they're very secretive.
Yeah, I'm still laughing at. I'm still laughing the time that Silva Gunner did actually they did Stratoliner like 2 days ago from Waka. So I was like,
it's like it just pops up like every other week or so nowadays. It seems like there's another rhythm game song. Yeah, I'm always happy to see it.
Let me see. There was also
I got something if you're looking for time, or you can go ahead.
I had one. I was actually gonna round back to Dance Rush really quickly. I was like, so you actually have like your outfit for DJ sets. Do you have the clear jacket as well?
So I actually did.
Oh,
but
you did?
I found out it's extremely hard to wash.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it actually got damaged while I was washing it. So I was like, okay, maybe no more clear jacket.
Oh no,
Dang.
that's so sad.
Because for a second I was like, Because for a second I was like, well, she has Dance Rush fit automatically. Like,
Yeah.
those will make
Once.
killer Dance Rush premium videos. But we don't have premium in the US. But anyway.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
so I'm actually planning on like changing my like sort of outfit
Oh,
soon
okay.
for VTubing and stuff. Just kind of like a mini rebrand.
Right.
Yeah, so I guess I won't be needing the transparent jacket anymore.
Okay, you heard it here first, folks. The death knell for the transparent
Just
jacket.
conveniently designing it out so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
No, it's a
Yeah.
redesign, guys. Don't worry. Don't worry
I
about it.
did keep cosplay in mind as I was designing it.
Smart.
Understandable.
If
Yeah,
good
that's
enough for
probably a good
Kojima,
idea.
good enough for you. Yeah. The little thing I had, speaking of VTubing model and streaming, you've been up to plenty of things. I remember as far back as catching you with Nerdale. Plus, you're literally the only Raid Shadow Legends footage I've ever observed.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
How's your streaming been, for those that don't know? You've been all over. Do you like have a plan, or are you just goofing off? I guess I want to know how you feel about streaming these days.
I definitely took it a lot more seriously when I was debuting.
Mhm.
Mainly because I was more into VTubers back then.
Ah.
But nowadays it's kind of like I just turn it on when I want to work on stuff that I can stream. And mainly for like streaming some Voltex and stuff, I've been kind of like slacking with streaming recently because I've been doing a lot of client work that I'm
Mhm.
like not allowed to stream.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, it's mainly just for that. I kind of don't have the time to like stream random games I find and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Nah, sorry. I still like
Yeah.
what you got going on. You did do DJ Max. It's not all Raid Shadow Legends. I love DJ Max, so I was really happy to see you give it a shot. Did you? I mean, you in general like it. You think you're gonna play it again?
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. And there's a lot of songs that I really like from artists that I really like on there.
That's what I'm saying. The
So
Korean
yeah.
So
rhythm
much
game
good
scene
music.
is so untapped as far as
Great. It's really a good
people
scene.
knowing about it. Yeah, there's so many gems.
So good.
Yeah, people
Definitely.
give DJ Max more of a shot. Give E2 on more of a shot if you're curious about all the hidden gems in the Korean rhythm game space.
Yeah. But actually in terms of streaming, I think like sort of just the opportunities like kind of come to you as you like keep streaming. So like I guess like the first like really big thing that I was able to do was a stream with Bart, which is like the transit company here in the Bay Area.
Yes, I know
Oh,
about
I
it.
forgot
It's
about that.
adorable mascot. They are doing so much work. Their TikTok is fire. But go ahead.
Yeah, so they invited me on to be a part of their stream with along with Yuna, who's another VTuber that like lives in the same apartment complex as me.
Oh,
Oh my
But
gosh,
yeah.
Creator House, Creator
the
House.
VTuber apartment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually. So yeah, I guess that was sort of like the really big thing that happened. And other than that, like the Raid Shadow Legends thing, and then like streaming with like bigger creators like Neardial
Mhm.
and like the whole Bart thing, it makes me really think like maybe I could take VTubing more seriously and make that like my main thing.
Mhm.
But I
Mm.
still think my heart is set on like music being my main thing.
I was gonna say, would you ever consider doing it over music?
We got the full studio streams.
And this is not.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't think I was about to say. I don't think that that question is definitely not a like pick one. It's more so like, do you see
Yeah.
it like as an avenue at some point if you had to choose? I guess.
I think no. I think I would
Mhm.
always pick music over it. It will always be like a side thing.
Mhm.
But actually, in terms of making revenue, out of the things that I do, it's kind of crazy how little music pays because I
Yeah.
was able to
Yeah.
reach the same like royalties that I got from music that I as or my YouTube revenue was able to exceed exceed my
God,
like
brain rot.
music
God dang
streaming
it.
royalties revenue
Oh my gosh.
like
Snoop Dogg
very
was just
quickly,
talking
and I've
about it.
only been streaming for like a year and a half now. So
Yeah, and that
crazy.
was. Yeah, if I. Well, actually, I can wait until after the podcast to mention it, but because I technically can't say that here. But like yeah, especially with licensing, especially in rhythm games, I mean, there's some negotiation and some pull and some push and pull between the artist and then the company or team that you're negotiating with. But even then, it's like, if you wanted to, a lot of like newbies that I've like talked to, and then also people in the community go like, yeah, I just want to do rhythm game music like entirely, like that's all I want to do. And I'm like, it's not sustainable, and I hate to break that to you. Like, that's more so like you have to do a bunch of other stuff. You would have to do kind of, for example, what like Synthion and James Landino do, which is they do DJ sets, they do live events, they do their own album and EP releases. Like, it's a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah,
Rhythm game music
I
is just
will
not
say, none of those things are sustainable on their own.
Right.
Like,
It's a
Mhm.
collection of it.
if you just do DJ sets, there's not enough of a market here in the States, at least,
Yeah.
to be able to do that full time.
Mhm.
If you just do like rhythm game music, there's like the opportunities for that are kind of little as well.
Mhm.
And if you just want to make music or make money off like streaming, which is like people playing your songs on Spotify, that also pays way too little. So
Yeah.
it has to be
Actually,
like a
Spotify.
combination of so many different things
Yep.
for you to be able to like kind of make a living off music, which is what I'm trying to do right now.
Yeah.
It's
And
also
then-
crazy when you mentioned that like your YouTube revenue passed your music revenue quickly, especially because like relative to I guess like what a lot of VTubers are doing, like the content you have is like pretty niche, like rhythm games, music production,
Definitely.
and
Mhm.
that still exceeded the amount you were making on music, which is like crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, so actually something I found out with VTubing, for any aspiring VTubers out there, being niche is really good. It's not
Mm.
limiting the amount of audience that you bring in.
Mhm.
There's still a lot of people within that niche.
Yep.
Mhm.
So there's like a surprisingly big cross section. I had no idea, obviously, but pretty much everyone that plays rhythm games and likes VTubers is somehow ends up into my stream, which is surprisingly a lot of people.
Yeah, that works for you then.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's wild.
It's like, yeah. I also still feel like though that the VTubing community is, or at least VTubing right now is still like super competitive, at least. But like with niche, I mean, if you
Definitely.
move
It's also
towards a
so
niche,
big though.
yeah,
It's crazy how big it
it's
is.
huge.
I kind of thought, like, I truthfully, what it says, it kind of blew up during the beginning of COVID, and I kind of thought after COVID kind of lowered a bit, I thought it was gonna kind of peter off with it, but no, if anything, it got bigger.
Yep.
It's
Oh,
crazy.
Yeah, everyone's a VTuber.
Everyone is.
Yep. Now we have Niji.
And
Now we have like
that
Niji
was a meme in
Sanji.
2020, let alone now. Like the meme of like the VTubers that would make like a Twitter and get their model and then like never debut. Like, that was a meme like 2 years ago, and now it's even bigger.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You also mentioned like you're doing work for like clients, and I actually had a question started about that. I was wondering, I mean, this might tie in a little bit to the free time thing, but like, how do you try to find a balance between like work you're taking on that's like a commission versus like your own music that you just want to release?
Nope, there's absolutely no balance.
I kind of figured that was the answer.
Take it how it comes.
Yeah, pretty much. This is like the first time I've opened commissions like publicly. But I was kind of like running low on like money, so I just needed to sort of fill that in with some client work. Obviously, I do love like I love doing client work, and I love doing work for other people, just like in general. So it's not something that I like have to force myself to do, but it definitely like the money is like kind of a big part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't
makes
blame you
sense.
there. You gotta eat.
Especially
Yeah.
considering what
Nothing
you
wrong with
just said about the differences in revenue between music production and YouTube.
Definitely.
Makes perfect sense.
So I sort of have to make that a top priority. And then
Yeah.
everything after that is what I am able to work on for my own music. So my own music always comes second.
Yeah. I see.
Mhm.
All right, you heard
It's
it
kind
here
of
first,
sad in a
folks.
way.
Yeah.
It is really sad.
'Cause
It's
that's
actually
obviously
super sad.
right. Because obviously anyone who's doing like music or any sort of project that they make, like they want to do it, or at least I think this is my opinion, but like you want to do it for you. You want to make the thing that you're like. I know I always have ideas like rattling around in my head, and if I was like
Mhm.
forced to stop or like put those off, I know that would be tough.
Yeah, for me, what really hurts is when I like think of a melody that I'm like really really in love with, and I'm just like thinking, oh, this is just gonna get used for a game, and someone's just gonna hear it, and that'll be it.
Oh,
I'm sure you like that in some ways, right? But in other ways, you probably would like to just release that yourself.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
being like way more personal and
Yeah.
way more like
yeah.
I think I would love it a lot more if I was able to like make it a single or like something that's like directly related to just me. But when I have to tie that game into it or like that client into it, it's sort of it kind of hurts. It's like kind of seeing your kid go off to college or something.
Yeah. You have to send it
Yeah.
off away when it could just be like a personal thing.
They're
Yeah,
not.
definitely.
Just, they're not letting my ideas blossom.
Oh, you
Yeah,
got another one.
actually-
in? You got another
Yeah,
one?
actually, Blossom's kind of interesting in that regard then because you made that first and then it was licensed. So I assume that doesn't feel quite the same way.
Yeah. So Blossom, I had no idea it was gonna be for a rhythm game.
Right.
When I was writing it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's definitely different. I feel like it has a little bit more heart into it because of
Oh.
that.
Oh, I would imagine that makes the release a lot. That makes the release a lot more. That makes like the Konami release a lot more personal because it's like a.
Yeah.
This is
it's very
purely.
meaningful.
This is purely Synthion. This isn't Synthion, but it's Bomani coded, or like
I was
because
just
Yeah.
gonna
Bomani
say, it's
told
like
me.
if you got asked to make a rhythm game song, I'm sure you considered like the style of that game when you write the music. So like having it be not that is a lot different.
Yeah, so actually when I wrote a song for Ongeki with emo cosign, that was a little bit I had to kind of box myself in for that one.
Yeah.
To like a certain
Mhm.
style.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta
Yeah,
fall in.
And then, well, would you say that Starburst was sort of, was that purely you? Like, would you say that's purely you, or would you say that one was kind of boxed in a little?
That was also boxed in a little, mainly
okay.
because they provided like a key visual, I guess, for it.
Right. I
And,
think it's Buro and the spacesuit.
Yeah. I tried to really like match that theme with
Yeah.
the song.
Gotcha. Did you make that on stream? Actually,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
it was like super fast. I was like, well,
Yeah, it took 3 days.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
That sounds crazy fast. I don't know
She's
much
got-
about music production, but that sounds really fast.
it
She's got
is
the
very
experience.
fast. I
From
mean,
like 18 months, she's got it. She's been
From
working.
18
That's not true.
That's
Maybe what is
insane.
it? High school 14, maybe at least been making music.
yeah.
Gosh.
I'm
but,
actually curious. What is streaming music production like? Like, is the chat interaction there? Like I think there's a like I don't do music production, but I follow a lot of music production content, and a lot of times you get like comedy content where it's like what people think making music is like versus what it's actually like, and it's just a guy testing like 8 different synths,
Yeah.
tweaking knobs,
Like
and,
finding the
nothing
right snare.
Like you're not
500
writing the melody.
kicks.
You're just trying to find the right snare. Like I'd be curious how that translates to like stream content.
So actually, like the compliment I get most about my music production streams is like, "Oh, you work really fast," and it's like very interesting to watch because like you kind of know what you want in your
Mm.
songs, and I
Interesting.
think that's a really good advantage. I think a lot of that comes from my experience because
Yeah.
I have been making music for 9 years now.
Right.
Um,
Definitely a lot of experience.
I knew it was a big
yeah.
number.
Not only that, but like because I have perfect pitch, I can sort of like think about what the melody will sound like before I actually write it.
And so I imagine
So-
all those things make that whole process of testing 800 sounds. I imagine that makes it much shorter.
Yeah, so when I watch a lot of other producers work, it's like a lot of trial and error where they'll like
Mhm.
try writing something, they'll write the whole thing and be like, that doesn't sound good, and just scrap the whole idea.
Fully.
Yeah.
Which makes
but-
sense.
Yeah, for me, there definitely is a lot of trial and error, but not to that degree. Like, I can sort of like imagine what it would sound like before I actually put it in.
Mhm.
And before it actually goes in the DAW, I can like rule out any bad ideas. So I think there's a lot of stuff that's eliminated in my head before it actually makes it to the computer, which speeds up my process a lot more.
Yeah, that sounds incredibly enviable. Like I'm jelly. That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
Would you say
and I
that,
can
um,
100% tell you that was attributed to her being introduced to music at a very, very early age.
Mhm.
definitely.
Would you say that? Actually, I'm actually curious. Would you say that 3 days is fast or slow?
For me, it's like a little bit. It's on the fast side.
Okay. Still,
Yeah.
is that, so would you say like maybe like a week or two though? Would you be like would be like what you expect?
Yeah, a week or
Okay,
two.
that sounds
But
crazy
I
fast.
know music producers that will take like 3 months to write a
Yeah,
song, which
that's
is
kind of what I have in my head. I think.
yeah, it's completely valid, and everyone works at different paces.
Right.
But
True,
Right.
true.
I guess like what works for you is what's
Right.
best.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you can find what you want it to sound like quickly, no reason to take too long to make it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
I take long on stuff because it's like I get stuck up in specifically like I want it to sound this specific way and I have to get myself out of that headspace sometimes. Sometimes it's like you really want it to sound like a very specific way and you're like I want this to sound like the best and then you sit on that for a while. And then sometimes just beams of inspiration hit and they'll go like how did you make this? And I tell them I'm like I'm going to be honest with you, I literally don't remember. I just got inspired with the melody and then everything's a blur from there. Like
That's how the best songs are written.
yep. And, like it's just like I don't remember. It was like how Sta in like Citus 1 the Loom theme, like Sta was like, yeah, when I actually created this, I actually hated it. Like he was like, this is actually terrible. And then now everyone attributes it as like one of the best rhythm game themes of all time. And now he's like, no, I don't like this song at all.
Yeah, sometimes the fact that you can't control your audience can be accidentally good. People who
Yeah.
enjoy things even you don't give a fair shake. Like,
And then real quick, just a time check. I might have to go soon, but Synthion, how are you feeling? Are you about
I'm okay.
okay? How about everybody else? I might have to
I'm doing
probably
good.
wrap this up soon for myself, sadly.
I'm fine on time. Feel free to wrap when you need to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then do we have any other topics that we want to talk about?
Oh, I could pick your brain on DJing a little bit more, but who would care? I'm a gearhead, so I want to know the type of equipment you prefer, and how do you come up with sets? But I'm like the only DJ here, so I want to take it over. I mean, on our,
I
on our
have some
chat.
interest in it too, but just
Yeah.
casually.
Yeah, take the wheel.
So for gear at least, I actually don't own a lot. I kind of just have a really cheap Casio MIDI keyboard
Mm-hmm.
and my MacBook, and we're just out here surviving.
Hey, if it ain't broke,
That's all
don't
we
fix it.
need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Bedtime producer.
Yeah. But I do have a somewhat nice audio interface. I use an Audient ID14. And then I also have a decent mic, which is the ATH M50 or AT 2020.
Hey,
Oh
that's what I'm
yes,
using.
Yeah.
we
I
all
just
same.
switched to that.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's nice
then
mic.
the speakers that I have are the Kali Audio LP6. Yeah, and that's about the main stuff that I use for music production that aren't instruments at least.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm actually, as a like small final goofy topic. Do you play any gacha games?
So Blue Archive is
Oh boy.
OST is goated.
man.
I'm not a gotcha person, but gotcha continues to have amazing music. So
Hey, like
everything I
said,
know about Blue Archive is through the soundtrack.
Also,
yeah,
yeah.
sort of same. And like I think the soundtrack is what really made me fall in love with the game. Like even when I first heard about it at first, I like wasn't really interested until mainly the fan art, and then
Yeah.
and
Oh, now we
then
gotta say who's your
I like
favorite girl. Well, you
the
continue.
fan art got me into the game, and the soundtrack kept me in the game, I guess.
Oh, well put, well put. What
Yeah.
who's your favorite character? Now we gotta again, no wrong answers.
Hayase Yuka, and a very very close second is Snoukami Shiroko.
Good
Okay.
picks. Good picks.
Yeah.
Solid.
I was about to say
Yeah,
you on
I-
the soundtrack because I was like, I forgot about. I mentioned it in like I think 2 episodes ago with Albon's like Unwelcome School remix, and I was like, yeah. now I'm like, it's slowly gonna pull me in.
Yeah,
Very
you're gonna.
slowly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
like
however.
ages ago. I got into Dragalia Lost because of the soundtrack. That game.
Oh,
that game
God.
had a crazy soundtrack.
I missed your game.
Mm.
That's what I'm
No,
saying.
actually-
Gacha games have such good soundtracks.
good.
But
Yeah.
go ahead.
And sorry, go ahead.
The main like I guess like sound director of Blue Archive, Mitsukiyo, He's like my top artist on Spotify. And
Oh.
yeah, he's like I would say he's my top musician like at the moment.
Yeah.
Wow.
You are
So
understandably loving it then.
yeah.
Yep.
You know,
Alright.
speaking of gacha games, actually, did I see that you also play Mahjong Soul?
Yeah, Mahjong Soul as well.
Mahjong
Even though
Soul, I am
it's
all
not
over that.
yeah,
That
it's
now
not
I'm out
like
of my
that
element.
much of a gacha game. It
Yeah,
definitely
not
has
in
the
the same
gacha
way.
element. But yeah,
Mhm.
I really love Mahjong Soul. I actually I've been taking a break from Blue Archive, but Mahjong Soul I've been playing at least one game before bed every day.
It
So I
got me
want
into it.
I
I
was
want to
also
Yeah.
taking
learn
a
to
break from like
play. Yeah.
I was gonna say I was also taking a break from like Arknights as well but like Arknights I also got into it because of the like the actual like the joke of like Hypergriff is actually just a production label. Like
Yeah.
but like everything from like Operation Pyrite, Operation Blade, and a bunch of other like contingency contract songs from like Arknights, they get so many really cool artists in there, and I was like, okay, now I'm getting into this like a lot. So
Yeah, I was into Arknights a little bit as well, but what got me into that, I don't know if you heard, but there was this one ad they kept rolling and they had used the song Speed of Light in it.
yeah.
And it was like a huge meme, I think, because everyone was getting the exact same ad,
Mm-hmm.
but I would never skip that ad because the song was so good.
Yeah.
And I just like watched the ad and the animation was good too, and I was like, maybe I should actually try this game.
Yep.
So advertisement actually worked.
Yep.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
that's crazy. Well, I think
I remember this. No, you're right. I'm looking at it right now. I
Oh,
definitely remember
yeah,
this.
I found
it. I found
You
it.
just reminded me that Nikkei also has really good music, like way better music than it should have.
Oh, definitely.
Pretty
Like,
sure like Ajurika and some others did music on it.
yeah,
So
I
crazy.
think the Korean gacha game companies are kind of catching on that like people really care about the soundtrack.
It keeps me playing some of the games. I played Nikkei for way longer than I would have, probably just because of the
Definitely.
soundtrack. Didn't in the end did not like the game, but that soundtrack is crazy.
Yeah.
Man, I hate to be that guy, but like, just get the OST, man.
I stopped
do.
playing. I stopped playing the game and I just started listening to the soundtrack on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was like, "No, I'm good here."
It's the same thing I had with like Punishing Grey Raven. I can't play the game because I don't have enough time to like fit it into my schedule. But like,
Yeah, true gacha
Narwhal-
games moment.
Narwhal by
Can't schedule it.
I literally go to say that. Yeah, exactly. I was like
So real.
Narwhal. It's like produced by I can't remember the other parts, but Halloween is on there, and I was like, oh yes, I love trance.
Trance, my beloved.
Yep, true.
I need Nato to compose something for a gacha game.
That'd be sick.
Peace. Oh, I think I've pretty much exhausted most of my questions. Oh wait, one more thing, Synthion. How far are you on Archaea?
No,
Oh,
we're supposed to go a whole
I-
episode without mentioning Arcane.
No,
Oh, yeah,
yes.
I
Days
actually
since Archaea has been discussed, the whiteboard gets erased.
I don't play arcade.
Oh, I
Oh,
thought you
that's-
started it though.
I downloaded it on my phone because I wanted to take a video of my friend's cat like tapping the things.
Oh.
What pure
I've actually never
motivation.
played it.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. I mean, how do we, in the nicest way possible, word it? It's probably fine if you don't start.
That's
You
kind
got a
of
lot going on. Yeah, you got a lot that you're already doing. No rush, no
Yeah,
pressure.
I'm kind of like full on like the amount of things I can juggle right now,
Yeah.
including games. So I need to like kind of free up my time a little bit before I start something new.
Just keep playing Voltex.
True. True.
Yeah.
Voltex is enough of a time commitment as it is.
Yep.
Yeah, I've actually like nowadays at the arcade, I've been kind of taking a break from Voltex and playing a lot more DDR.
Yeah. Yeah,
Interesting.
A
nice.
lot of
How- how
DDR
do
heads
you-
here.
How have you been enjoying that?
I recently started playing level 9s and
Mhm.
like, you know, I'm like learning all the twisting and stuff.
Yep.
It's actually a lot of fun.
You play with a bar?
Yeah.
Bar, no bar. Oh, okay. I'll be the no bar hero.
You
Don't worry
know
about
bar-
it.
you
It's
know
fine.
bar.
I'm a no bar here, but again, I'm
Yeah.
a home player. Like that's
Yeah.
why y'all. It's different when you don't have the real bar. I can't put up with no couch. I ain't got
Yeah,
space for that.
Yeah.
I play ITG at home, and for a long time I was using a keyboard stand. As
Oh
a
my
bar.
goodness.
And
I
it
mean,
was- it
people
was
make it
rough.
happen, but I
It
don't
was
have
rough.
the strength. Yeah.
I just recently bought an actual like exercise bar that you use in like your house to substitute, because I was like, I can't do this anymore.
I might give that a shot because I do own an LTEC.
It fits an LTEC in between the bar.
So expensive, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I guarantee you it's better than the LTEC bar.
That's exactly why I didn't get the LTEC bar because I knew better.
did
Yeah.
good. You did
All right,
good not buying
you're
it.
losing me. You're losing me and.
Don't use
Uh,
keyboard stands as a bar; they're bad.
Oh,
And I
will not
think-
do. Anyways,
That being said, I
Um,
think with that, I think I am pretty much out of talking points. But
likewise. Thank you so
but
much for
yeah,
joining
Synthion,
us.
thank you.
Thank
so much.
you. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Likewise.
Before we stop recording and everything and run the outro music, do you want to plug any socials or anything?
Oh yeah, so you can follow me on Twitter at Synthion Music. I do have a separate Twitter for like rhythm game stuff.
Mhm.
It's Shion2519, like SHION 2519. If you want to follow me there. It's a bit more like personal stuff and like life stuff, but
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah.
We also,
I-
I'll also put in the description her YouTube channel and her Spotify information as well.
Yeah,
Totally.
YouTube and Spotify. You can find my music anywhere. Apple Music, Deezer if you use that.
I remember
Um,
Deezer.
And yeah, I think that's it. Oh, I should also mention one thing.
Sure.
Just in case any Japanese people are watching this, I will be in Japan this December, and I'm gonna be playing a lot of different shows. So look out for that. If you're an event organizer, you can contact my manager. Actually, we're still looking for bookings.
Okay.
So yeah.
That sounds like it's gonna be
Nice.
so much fun.
Yep. All right,
Yep.
and with that, I'm Enemy, that's Eris, that's Jack, and this was Synthion, and we will all see you in the next episode at some point, whenever we make
Thank
it.
you, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Shion.
Hey, you're welcome. You
What's
know.
a
Good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. See y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.